The events of 9/11 changed everything. In the wake of a horrific tragedy, we discovered the value of support in a crisis, building community and resilience. Since that day, the need for emergency preparedness has taken on a new urgency. Terrorist attacks, energy interruptions, cataclysmic weather, or an avian flu pandemic. Despite the courage of our first responders, events of this magnitude strain the system.
If you look around what's going around the world, what's been happening with the weather lately, what's been happening with wars, we have to make people aware, and also ourselves, of what's actually going on in this world, and be careful and be ready to go.
So it's not just the big one, but all the other little ones that might be coming down the pipe.
Today, emergency preparedness doesn't mean waiting for help to arrive. In a large-scale crisis, it's likely that New York's first response capability would be overwhelmed. So that means that every one of us needs to be prepared. Prepared to help ourselves, our families, and our neighbors. Now there's a program that in an emergency can make all the difference to you and your family. It's called All Together Now.
911 made you think about a lot of things, and I started preparing myself right after that a little bit.
For me, this has been the first thing since 9/11 that's really concrete and informative.
It's too late in time of crisis to figure out what you're going to do, where you're going to go, who you're going to be with, and if you can set that up in advance and create a flow of communication and ideas and preparedness, it's all set in place for whatever happens, you're prepared.
Doing the All Together Now program is really one of the best forms of insurance you can have.
It has changed the way I think about being prepared. I never took it seriously, and I'm a nurse, but it's something, and I've been in the military, but it's something that you just don't think about when you're at home.
Scott Stringer is Manhattan Borough President.
This All Together Now program allows people to learn how to respond to an emergency. And we want to make sure that we have people prepared on every single street corner. And that's why I want everybody to attend the meetings, participate with your neighbors, and then you will be stronger for it, and our borough will be safer for it.
K.C. Goss, now in the private sector, was Associate FEMA Director for Preparedness in the Clinton administration.
It's the best thing I've seen across the world, and I've observed preparedness practices from the United States to Botswana. And the reason it is because it takes people where they are at the awareness level and raises them to the next level, empowers them to act now.
David Gershon is CEO of Empowerment Institute, the people who developed the All Together Now program. They are nationally recognized experts on behavior change and emergency preparedness.
What we're trying to do in New York City is create this resiliency. Resiliency is a powerful idea. It's more than just preparedness. It's the ability to respond skillfully, effectively, intelligently to a crisis. And people who are resilient are the ones that have the staying power to make it through whatever happens. So we're trying to build on this innate resiliency that New Yorkers already have and have demonstrated over the years on many crises and just daily living in the city, and turn that into an asset that is now more substantive.
Let's take a quick look at how the All Together Now program works. You're going to take a set of important actions that prepare you and your family to cope with different kinds of emergencies. The actions fall into three categories: preparing for energy disruptions, preparing for emergencies, natural disasters, and terrorism, and creating a resilient building or block. But you won't need to do this alone. You'll be on a team with neighbors from 5 to 8 nearby households. Your team is there to give you support and motivation to carry out the actions you choose.
The road to preparedness is fun. I mean, getting to know your neighbors is really fun. We call it All Together Now because you really do have fun. You know, you're in community doing these great things together. And as the Red Cross says, it's better to be prepared for an emergency that doesn't happen than to have an emergency that you're not prepared for. So, go for it.
For people who can't invest the time right now, a streamlined version of the program lets them do it as an individual household, still with the support of a building or block leader. So either way, you're building the relationships and trust that are so vital in a crisis.
We helped each other through the actions. We formed a real team, and I know I can count on this team should anything happen.
We've got a great communication structure and a reliable, resilient relationship that I feel very trusting in.
Let's take a closer look at the team program. You and your team will complete the program in 4 meetings, one every other week. And you'll need to devote some time between the meetings to taking your preparedness actions.
Thanks for signing up at the introductory meeting we had a couple of weeks ago. And we're here today to discuss how we get started with the All Together Now program.
In your first meeting, you'll focus on building the team. Together you'll get to know how the program works, schedule meetings and support calls, and most importantly, create a support system for each other. This is what will bond you together as a team, and it's the key to success in achieving all the benefits of the All Together Now program.
When you have to look your neighbor in the eye, you really do want to take those actions, and you really do keep your commitments.
The people on my team made me accountable, so that in the past where I would have wanted to do something but life would have jumped in front of me finishing it, this created an accountability where I had to show up and say, yes, I did this.